Welcome back to another Pokemon Sleeper Sunday, where once a month we go through a ton of raw cards, graded cards, and sealed products that I think are being completely slept on. And we are going to do a giveaway today. All you have to do is make sure you subscribe. You got to hit that notification bell. You got to hit that like, and then you have to answer the question of the day. So for today's question, which Pokemon would you rather get rid of, Gyarados or Snorlax? This is a card we're giving away today. We got a beautiful Oricorio EXSIR promo. And we do have to announce the winner from last Sunday's giveaway, and that is at Daniel R6921. So just shoot me an email or hit me up on Instagram. I'll get those cards sent out to you. And we do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is ARIZONATCG. If you guys have a ton of graded cards you're looking to sell, could be PSA, CGC, Beckett, Tag. If you're struggling to move those other brands to some of these card shows, you can just send everything to ARIZONATCG. They're going to take professional scans, then they're going to post it to their massive weekly eBay auctions, which gets thousands and thousands and thousands of eyes on these cards. And as you can see, they got some absolute bangers on here, so people trust them with some of the rarest cards in the world. And they did also lower their prices to basically match what they were doing during the holidays for their big discount. And of course, if you're going to grade through PSA for your very first time, you can click my link in the description, use the code BEARD25, and you receive $25 off your very first submission, which is basically a free graded card. And I also just got a Tag affiliate. I'm working on CGC. That should be coming very soon. So I'll have a link in the description for Tag if you guys want to get 10% off your very first submission. And you just got to use the code BEARD10. So definitely check that out. All right, let's get to it. So we have the Pikachu Pokemon Day cards. So we used to get Pokemon Day cards back in the day, and we're starting to get them again, and we've gotten them the last couple of years. There isn't a ton of them, but honestly, I do really like them. I like the stamps, and all pretty solid Pokemon that they've chosen so far. So this is the newest one, the Pikachu that just came out. This was at $7.50. Now last sold, some about 23 of them at $4, so thinking like me. Another one at $2.50, $2.15. $3 card. Next, here's the Eevee Pokemon Day one. This one does have a very nice reverse holo. This is from 2025. Again, another very solid Pokemon. And yet again, it's about a $3, $4 card. Next, we have the Ceruledge. This is 2024. And this card is going up in price. It was a $2 card. Now last sold $3, $5, $5.75, $6. And we do have the Sylveon. I believe this is 2025. It's not labeled correctly on TCG Player. This one's a little more expensive, being Sylveon, but last sold, $6, $7. Someone got 22 of them at $5.13. And what's cool about this is there isn't a ton of them right now to where you can collect these all very easily and keep up with them from year to year. And there's a good chance some of these go crazy. Next, we have the coolest one, in my opinion. This is a prize pack series, Bulbasaur 2026 Pokemon Day card. And this was $27. Now last sold $10 and $11. I mean, that is a steal, getting prize pack plus the 2026 Pokemon Day stamp. I think that is pretty sweet. Next, we have just some regular Cosmos foil promos from the Scarlet era. I really like that you can get Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle for the Scarlet era. They're all literally around $1. I mean, not too bad and pretty safe, to be honest. Next, we have the Skeledirge. Now, this is a promo from the Paldean Fates collection boxes that has all the starters. This also comes with 2 baby shinies, and you can complete the whole evolution set. Those boxes are so expensive to where these promos at $2, $3, not bad, and they could easily become $10, $15 promos. Next, we have the Prismatic Evolution stamp promos. These are still very cheap. You can get all of them for $3, $4, $5, besides, obviously, Umbreon, which market price now is $14.55. And this card was decently expensive. We'll go back 1 year here. It was at $70 at one time. And now we can get it for $14. Now, we don't have a ton of things where you can get every evolution. And this just looks so nice in a binder. And as soon as the surprise box gets very expensive, these cards are just going to go crazy. Next, we have the Galarian Zapdos Sword and Shield promo from the Crown Zenith tin. If we're checking the 1 year, the high was $5 or $4.70. Now last sold, it's a $2 card. And here's the Articuno. Same thing. This was a $5 card. Now last sold $4 and $3. And we have the Galarian Moltres. Now this one is done by Shinji Kanda, so that's why it's the most popular. This got up to $22 before, dropped down to $8, and it's coming up again. Now last sold $12, $14, $10, $11. So not bad promos. And yet again, once those tins are a few $100s, those promos are going to be kind of expensive. Next, we have the Lucario V-Star promo. So this got up to $14, and now the Crown Zenith ETB is the most expensive it's ever been. Dropped down to $7. Now last sold $9.99. Someone got 10 of them at $8.41. Could easily see this being a $20 card. Next, we have the Victini Scarlet and Violet Air promo. And the reason I love the promo so much is they're so cheap. They're so safe because you can get them in a box. Eventually that box is going to get expensive. So, it's just a no-brainer. This card was $6.25. I've mentioned it a few times. Now last sold $10, $9, $8.50. I still feel like that's not terrible for this card. Next, so this is one of the most interesting cards on the list. You guys know I've been buying these up like crazy. We have the Bulbasaur Mega Evolution Stamp promo. One of the only box toppers we really got. And this was a $12, $13 card for a while. But now last sold $22, $18. We got a lightly played at $20. Otherwise, a couple of near mints at $17, $15. Now here's the reason why. This card is very, very tough to grade. And it's sold for $830 in a PSA 10. On auction, 55 bids. The regular Bulbasaur that you have to pull sold for $140, $115. We got another promo here at $680. Another one here at $550. Another one at $900. So definitely keep your eye out for these Bulbasaurs. But like I said, though, they are tough to grade. But just keep your eye out and just keep picking them up whenever you see them. It's a no-brainer. Just imagine when, the booster box is actually super, super expensive. And, we're talking a Gen 1 starter promo. It's a no-brainer. Next, we have the Ends Reshiram Journey Together stamp promo. I just love the box topper promos, and this one is very, very solid. It's up a little bit, just $1 or $2, but you can still pick it up for $16 to $18. Next, we have the Noctowl Pokemon Center promo. I do think this is one of the cooler promos we've gotten, especially if you really look at all the detail. It is beautiful. Now, this card was $52, and you can pick it up now for about $25 to $30. Not too bad. I know Stellar Crown isn't the most popular set, but I feel like a lot of people do like Noctowl, and the art is solid. And honestly, there's a ton of Pokemon Center promos that were half the price that they were before, and you guys know I always say buy the dips. So I'm literally buying every single Pokemon Center promo that I see. Just the Noctowl is the best deal right now. Next, we got some illustration rares. So the Weavile, which I think is one of the best arts in Ascended Heroes, was $15. Now that sold $7, $6, $8. And we are seeing some of these illustration rares and some of the special illustration rares starting to bounce back up. And I could see this card being, a $15 card again. It's super sick. Next, the Marshadow. Remember, this card was literally like $80. Nope, $92.34. And now last sold $8.53, $8, $10, $12, $9. You cannot go wrong with this Marshadow with the Pikachu in there at $8, $9. I actually have a feeling that a lot of the illustration rares that says Team Rockets in them are going to do very, very good in the future. We got Team Rockets Raticate right here for $6, $7. We got the Team Rockets Wheezing from Destined Rivals, which is also getting very expensive, for $9. And we have the brand new Team Rockets Dugtrio, which I think this is one of the coolest Team Rocket illustration rares that we got. I actually wish this was in Destined Rivals, but this was $26. And now last sold $11.43, $9.79. Again, I can see this thing jumping back up to $15 or $20 very easily. Back in the day, we never would even have to think like that. You get a new set, you wait 3 to 6 months, the cards are dirt cheap, you don't have to worry about them randomly shooting up in price. But now, a brand new card that could be out for a couple weeks, will drop like crazy, and then we'll just automatically shoot back up. Because we're in some crazy times. Next, the Team Rockets Mimikyu. This card is already starting to bounce back. So this was at $39, dropped down to $23. Now last sold $25, $29, $26. You got to think, Mimikyu is definitely one of the most popular Pokemon in the world right now. And with Team Rocket, this combo is crazy. And there's a lot of cards in Ascended Heroes, so it's not like it's a super small set like Phantasmal or Journey Together, where there's going to be, 1,000 of these listed on TCG Player. Right now, the current quantity is 62. So that's pretty low. Next, we have the Giovanni's Charisma from 151. As you guys know, everything from 151 went crazy. And this card is still very affordable. This card is normally a $12, $13 card. Got down to $10. Now last sold $19, $20. A couple at $17 and $18. So really not that much more than it really was before. Next, same thing with Erica's Invitation. This one's going a little quicker. But last sold for this one $22, $23, $24. And this card was also, like a $13 to about a $15 card. Next, the Genesect EX from Blackbolt is super cheap, and it's bouncing back just $1 or $2, but very solid SIR, and you can get it for around $40. Next, we have the Team Rockets Moltres EX. This is the one you do have to pull. So the high for this card was $180. And now last sold 87, 89, 106, a bunch at $89. So I mean, at 80 something dollars, this is not a bad pickup. Next, we have the Surging Sparks Pikachu. Just like I always say, it's good to buy during these dips. This card was $437, dropped down to $255, went back up to $351, and now it's been at $255 for a while now. Last sold $256, $220, $230. Now, we did just get 2 new Pikachus, which I do like both of them actually more than this card. So that is definitely one of the reasons why I feel like this card hasn't really bounced back yet. But I could definitely see this card bouncing back to like $300 something. Next, we have the new Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. Of course, this one's going to be a little bit on the riskier side, but this was at $350 and now last sold $275, $295, $280. I could see this card jumping back up to $350, to be honest. I mean, I know a lot of people like this Mewtwo more than the actual Destined Rivals one. You know, it's definitely pretty close. It's done by Arita. I think it's very solid and has a decent chance, but like I said, definitely riskier. Next, we have the Charizard VMAX Sword and Shield promo. So this was at $43. We checked the 1 year, it got up to $65. Now last sold $35, $34, $37. Next, we have the Gardevoir EX Secret Rare from XY Steam Siege. So these cards all went crazy. You know, I told a lot of people to pick these cards up when they were all dirt cheap. This card was $50. Beautiful Gardevoir and Yveltal in this card. The texture is crazy. It just pops. If you guys have not seen these cards in person, I promise if you see them in person, you will appreciate them. This card got up to $102. Now last sold $85, $97, $81. And these sets just keep getting more and more expensive. I mean, these cards are still so underrated. Especially this one right here, the Alakazam EX with an Umbreon and a Lugia in the card. This is from XY Fates Collide. If we check the 1 year, this card got up to $133. Used to be $90 a year ago. Now last sold $115, $113, $105, $110. We even got one at $99. I mean, that is just crazy. Having those 3 in all one card is wild. And they even got the Gyarados. This one's a little bit more expensive. We got the shiny Gyarados and a Greninja in there too. But this card, if we check the 1 year, went up to $243. Now last sold $168. One at $215, $180, $167, $169, $135. I mean, if you can find this card for around $150, $160, which we can get it shipped for $165 on TCG Player right now, that is not bad. And honestly, the best Gyarados card we've ever gotten. Next, we have the Japanese XY Hoopa. This card is still somewhat affordable. And if you really look at it, it is crazy. Now, if you want it sealed, it's definitely going to be a little bit more. I think we had a couple sealed ones. Where'd it go? Right here, $169. But you can find these pretty clean for around $70 to $100. The ones that are like 50, 60, you know, are definitely a little more lightly paid. I don't care what they put on there, but still such a cool card, such a sick Japanese exclusive, and it's still very affordable. Next, we have the Pokemon Rumble cards. I've been buying these up like crazy. So if you guys do not know about these all come in one box. So you can get all 16 of these promos from one box. And that box now is selling for like $4,000 to like $7,000. And you can still get a lot of these cards for, you know, a decent price. We got a PSA 8 Rattata here for $80. The Lucario for $240, kind of expensive. Zapdos at $240. I mean, it's going up quick. Diglett, $66. Heatran, $70. Got the Bibarel at $80. The Skunk Tank at $66. The Cherim at $80. The Bastiodon here at $53. So it's very, very affordable. And those are all PSA 7s, PSA 8s, which make really, really good binder copies. But yeah, not too bad. Of course, the Mewtwo, the Pikachu, those ones are going to be very expensive. I don't even know if we have any on here. And the Venusaur here, PSA 7, $270, your best offer. Accepted. And here's the Pikachu. This is where it gets expensive. PSA 8 sold for $1,400, best offer accepted. We got a raw Mewtwo here at $450, says Near Mint Huge Swirl, and a Near Mint Pikachu at $250. Next, just like I said before, I'm going crazy on these first part illustration collections. We did just have a sale for $200 for the 9 from the new Series 1. So this has all 3 of the starters. And that includes Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. I mean, that's not too bad. At $200 plus $5 in shipping. I mean, at $20 a card, that'd be $180. So it's a little over $20 a card. And these will definitely get a lot cheaper once everybody, opens up their boxes. And I'm not even kidding. I want to have an entire binder filled with these cards, not just some pages, like in an entire binder. I love these promos. I hope they're dirt cheap. I also hope the boxes get very, very cheap, because if they do, I am going crazy. These are only supposed to be, I think, $15 a box, and they're selling for about $50 a box. So if they get down to $25, even $30, honestly, I am definitely buying a bunch. I want to get cases of this one. Next, we have these Zoroark from White Flare. So these cards from White Flare and Blackbolt are very tough to grade. This has a pop of 173 in a 10, 537 in a 9, and we got a PSA 10 sale here at $229. That's not too bad. I could see this even coming down a little bit more. I really don't like to spend over $200 on these modern illustration rares and stuff for PSA 10s. If I can get them in the hundreds, not too bad. Next, we have the Samurott, a starter Pokemon, 127 pop in a 10, 501 in a 9, and last sold in a 10, $245. Another one too. If it gets, to like 180 or something, I'm definitely going to buy. And that's what's cool too. They have the full lineup. And then I love actually when it's all illustration rares, because then they're all tougher to grade. It sucks when it's 2 illustration rares with 1 special illustration rare for the last evolution, because the SIRs are just so much easier to grade. So just imagine if you got this whole lineup in PSA 10s and maybe sequential, that would be a very, very nice little collection. And if anybody's a fan of this Pokemon, I mean, this is basically the best card he's gotten, in my opinion. Next, the Master Balls from Prismatic Evolutions. Again, these cards are very tough to grade. Sylveon here, 465 in a 10, 973 in a 9, and PSA 10, 129, 150, 154. I mean, I feel like if you picked up the Evolutions, at least in these Master Balls, raw or in a 10, not too bad. Of course, in a 10 might be slightly better just because they are so tough to grade. And here's the Umbreon, 982 in a 10, 2657 in a 9. And of course, this one's going to be a little more expensive. We got a PSA 10 sale here at $305. And before that was $529. So definitely getting a lot cheaper. Next, we have the Destined Rivals Booster Bundle. Now, this booster bundle is the same price as the Black Bolt Booster Bundle. And Prismatic Evolutions, I think, is $20 more than this booster bundle. And I normally just hate saying to buy stuff way over MSRP, but I mean, Destined Rivals is just so expensive, and I can't see it like dropping a ton in the future. So this is not a bad pickup compared to everything else in the market. Next, we have the Silver Tempest Build and Battle Stadium. I don't know what this noise is, but there's something scratching against my window. It's driving me nuts. So you can get this box shipped for $110. There's a lot of stuff in here. You get 2 decks, which do come with 2 stamp promos. They're not illustration rares, but still they're worth, a few bucks. And then you get 4 additional booster packs. So you're getting 12 booster packs total, plus the 2 sealed decks and a bunch of other random stuff. So not bad at all. Next, we have the Stellar Crown Pokemon Center ETB. This did drop in price. This was pretty expensive. It was at $190. We got a reprint to drop down to $105. Now that's sold $132, $140. Even one at $165 and $120, so it is on its way back up. Next, if you guys want something a little bit older, Crimson Invasion Elite Trainer Box. Honestly, not a very good set at all, but pretty cool box, and still very cheap for how old the box is. $195, $189, $200, and you can honestly still find this box for like $150, $160, depending on, who you ask and where you find, because they don't sell very often at all, so you can usually get a decent deal. And we have Burning Shadows. I think Burning Shadows is actually a very solid set. Definitely wish they would have chose a different Pokemon for the box. But still, if you guys want something a little bit older, last sold for this one is right around $300. Next, we have the regular Silver Tempest ETB. I was screaming at everybody to buy this at $94. Now last sold $125, $143, $127. And again, I do think this is going to be a $150 ETB, and then a $180 ETB, and then a $200 ETB. So still not a bad price. Same exact thing with Brilliant Stars. This one's going up a little bit quicker. This was also at $101. Now last sold $145, $120, $139, $145. Next, we have the Evolving Skies ETB. So this was at $350 for a while. I told a bunch of people to buy this one at that price also. And now last sold $520, $505, $440. Now, this is still very expensive for an ETB, but I could see this box even getting higher, which is just crazy to say. So if you find a super, super minty one, I'd probably buy it. Next, this is a booster box I'm keeping my eye on, the Mega Evolution Enhanced Booster Box. I could see this thing going up in price. I think it's actually pretty underrated compared to some of the prices of the other booster boxes. I mean, Stellar Crown is, $300 now, and this set blows that set out of the water. If you look at like the top 5 Pokemon for this set, it's pretty stacked. Not to mention the Bulbasaur box topper. I'm just going all in on these enhanced booster boxes, especially since we're not getting them for every set, and we rarely get them. We've gotten like 2 so far. So I'm a big fan of this box, even though it is $270 or $80, but I'm definitely going to grab some more. Next, we have the Astral Radiance booster box. This is at $402. I want to say it's a little higher, $411. Now last sold $390, $395, $375. Not too bad. We're not going to get a reprint of this. Next, Chilling Rain, same exact thing. This was at $575. Dropped down to $412, went back up to $546, and now last sold $528, $498, $469. You can still find this box for under $500. Next, the Prismatic Evolutions Mini Tin Display. Now, I really like this mini tin display because we're getting the evolutions. And people love to collect these mini tins and stuff, and when we're talking evolutions, you usually cannot go wrong. This is at $201, dropped down to $159. Now last sold $193, $195, $185. Now, of course, we could still definitely get a reprint of this stuff. Same with like the Deaths and Rivals booster bundles. We can get a reprint and it will make those go down in price. But at the rate we're going right now, we don't have a clue what's going to be reprinted, and a lot of these reprints aren't really making the prices go down a ton, depending on the product and stuff. So I feel like this is a decent pickup, especially if you compare it to some of the other sets mini tin displays. I feel like this one's actually a little bit undervalued compared to some of the other sets. But all right, that was this month's Pokemon Sleeper Sunday. If you guys like this content and want to stay ahead of the market, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. I'm also going to be vending in Durant, Oklahoma, this Friday and Saturday at the Choctaw Resort and Casino. You guys definitely have to swing by, come buy some cards, maybe go play some blackjack after. It's going to be a blast. Then, of course, if you guys want to support more, you guys can check out my Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube membership, all that. You guys know what to do. You guys are the absolute best. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you guys want to watch my last Pokemon Falling Friday, which was a super, super good one, click this video right here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.